Hey guys, I'm Nick.
And I'm Ahmed.
Welcome to The Finer Things.
On this episode, we're going to be taking a look at Arcam's reference integrated amplifier, the A49. Brand new product, just came out.
Brand spanking new. Made in Rochester. Before we jump in, if you're pumped about this video, give it a like.
If you're into more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And remember, go ahead and tap that bell so that you go ahead and receive some notifications on our amazing, mind-blowing upcoming content. And truly, you're going to watch the video and you say, gee, that guy was right. My mind blown.
Absolutely blown.
Unbelievable.
And don't forget, check us out on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, in addition to, what was that we also have?
Patreon?
Patreon.
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 As they say in Vicenza, Italy.
Yes. No, they actually don't say that at all. But we do have a Patreon, and in all seriousness, we would appreciate your support to make this channel better than it already is. Even though we're already pretty awesome, we know that we can be more awesome with your help.
We know you think it couldn't be better, but we promise it can be.
Let us assure you, it will be.
To frame out this video, we're going to be asking the question, who is Arcam? What do they do? Why are they them? Then, we're going to be taking a look at the feature set and the overall design of the A49. Then, we're going to be talking about our most memorable listening experiences with the A49. And finally, we're going to wrap up with our overall subjective evaluations and try to draw some conclusions. So, other little Easter egg we've been including in some of these videos is the mystery of our beverage. Stay tuned to the very end of the video if you're looking to find out what it is that we're drinking.
Arcam stands for Amplification Research Cambridge. Since 1976, Arcam has been known for producing minimalist, performance-oriented products that have consistently punched above their weight class. Arcam has pivoted from a more niche vendor to a bit more mainstream since being acquired by Harman International and, by extension, Samsung in 2017. Subsequently, build quality has changed, not dramatically, but not for the better, with the HDA line of products, which is their current lineup.
So, jumping into the A49 itself. Aesthetically, the A49 presents with a Spartan character, but it is elegant, functional, and beautiful in its own right. Its lines are well laid out with some gentle curves that soften the sheer size and heft of the flagship integrated piece by the English brand. You will need a purpose-built piece of furniture to house this thing on. It is deeper and maybe heavier than what your run-of-the-mill credenza or TV stand is designed to house. I literally had to take the back off of my television stand to house this guy when I initially got it. It since has been put onto a standard rack, like I recommend, but yeah, you should probably just do the rack up front.
Electronically, the A49 features dual large toroidal transformers, one for the fully balanced preamplifier section and one for the robust Class G power amplifier section, which is rated for 200 watts into 8 ohms and 400 watts into 4 ohms, the first 50 watts of which is pure Class A. Those big coily boys.
Big
coily boys push the heft of the A49 up to 43.5 pounds, or 19.7 kilograms for you commies out there. The A49 also has a resistor ladder volume control, which provides a stunningly low noise floor and superb dynamics.
From a feature set standpoint, the A49 features a slew of analog connections, including 6 single-ended inputs, as well as a moving magnet phono input. Fixed and variable RCA outputs as well, a balanced XLR input, and a balanced XLR output. And of course, the beefy binding posts for 2 pairs of speakers.
From a digital perspective, Arcam correctly assumes that their target customer base of serious audiophiles would prefer their own means of digital signal decoding and streaming, so there are no digital inputs or streaming capabilities on the A49.
Moving on to our most memorable listening experiences.
My first experience where I was able to see just how special the A49 is was at my friend's house. He had recently acquired the A49 and paired it with KEF LS50s. Up until that point, I had not heard LS50s with serious power behind them and had always found them rather thin and harsh sounding. That listening experience forever changed my perspective on having plentiful headroom to power speakers. The LS50s with the A49 were highly resolving and full sounding, having much greater impact than I had previously heard in other systems.
By the time I sat down to audition the SSCS5 bookshelves with the A49, I had already owned the A49 for some time and had auditioned it with like half a dozen speakers. With the SSCS5s being such a budget-oriented option, my expectations were not high, but the A49 blew the doors off those little speakers. To try and gauge how the Sonys would perform with power more in line with what Sony would have envisioned to be hooked up with those speakers, I paired the SSCS5s with the Marantz NR1200, and found the sound to be largely stale, rigid, and not very engaging, borderline lifeless. It was not until that day that I realized that the prowess and the effortless musicality of the A49 was what was elevating those SSCS5s to the place that we sort of judged them to be.
The system we used to audition the A49 for today's review as a refresher is comprised of the Sony SS-NA2 ESs, a pair of REL S812 subwoofers, and the Furman IT Reference 20i power conditioner. As far as the sources are concerned, we listened to Qobuz through Roon, fed through the Musical Fidelity VDAC2, as well as Arcam's own CDS27 networked SACD player, and finally the Project Debut Carbon turntable run through the Project PhonoBox S2 phono preamplifier.
The system presents a concert hall feel, in spite of the diminutive size of the listening room. The A49 drives the bulky towers from the Japanese brand to live performance level volumes while also delivering an engaging experience at lower levels. Tonally, the A49 is pretty much dead neutral, being perfectly revealing to the sound and the feel of the speakers themselves. The tonal neutrality of the A49 lends itself towards a lot of versatility. If you're a detail-oriented listener and prefer an analytical sound, the A49 will get you there without making the speaker sound shrill. If you're looking for a more laid-back, more organic sound, the A49 won't really over-sharpen your warm-sounding speakers. All in all, I think, unless you have something truly outrageously good, the A49's probably some type of step up, and your system really very well might benefit from the addition of it.
At the original retail cost of $5,750, the A49 was an excellent contender in its price category. In today's day and age, where these can be had for around $2,000 on the secondary market, the Arcam is a hidden gem. I implore you to find an integrated amplifier that achieves what the A49 does for less. $2,000 is not a small sum, but for your main listening system, it's a bargain.
So, for the reveal of the mystery beverage of the day, we are drinking Black is Beautiful, which is an imperial stout from the Montclair Brewery in Montclair, New Jersey. The story around this Black is Beautiful label and the overall presentation of the beer is that the Weathered Souls Brewery down in Texas, I believe, San Antonio, they essentially decided to brew this imperial stout, call it Black is Beautiful, and then release the recipe to any brewery that is willing to brew it, but you have to use this label, and you have to basically include your little individual brewery logo, there you go, on the can to differentiate from one to the other. But there are many, many breweries all over the country brewing the same beer with their own little twist on it, and the money goes to, according to the can here, brewed to support justice and equality for people of color. But outside of the really great cause, it is also a 9.2% alcohol per volume little can here, and it's rather tasty.
Yeah. Well, 9.2% is about the average ABV of beer that I drink typically. This is a pretty good sipper.
And
I sip it like tea.
If you want to proof it up, you just add a little bit of 1792 full proof, sitting at about 65%, so it's nice and light.
Yes.
No, but definitely a nice bitterness, really creamy, velvety. It's rather nice.
Medium finish.
Burnt caramel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what you'd expect from an Imperial Stout. Nothing amazing, honestly. But definitely an enjoyable,
I miss some, like, some Imperial Stouts that get, like, coffee and chocolate and
yeah,
sort
not
of
so
milk,
much
so
of that.
not really getting much of that here. But
nice to have with a breakfast.
yeah, definitely. You pour this in your cereal, you're good.
Yep. Captain Crunch and Imperial Stouts. It's a healthy diet.
Actually, Frosted Flakes. Give it a little more creaminess.
Sure. But I think that about does it. So, stay tuned.
Stay tipsy.
Stay classy. Arcam is a Cambridge Fagatron. Part.
Jordan Martin.